When it comes to altcoins, we're getting closer and closer to the prime time to be getting in. I'm going to be touching base on what is possibly the most profitable time in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency history. As the Bitcoin halving inches closer and closer, I'm talking about like literally 2 weeks away, we're going to be touching base on my strategy when I look at newer coins, older coins, and everything in between. If you enjoy this kind of content, as always, like and subscribe. Join our Discord server below for some free alpha, and let's get right into it. So whenever I think about crypto gaming altcoins, whenever I think about an altcoin, the first thing I think about is how much money do they have and how are they supposed to build out their product? Because at the end of the day, there are so many different projects that come out there saying that they're going to be building the most revolutionary thing in the world. I mean, everybody knows about Web3 is revolutionary. It's really going to change everything. But how is it going to change everything? And how are you going to make it happen? So that's my first question whenever I get into a project. If they can figure that out, if they can convince me that their use case is tangible and they've got the backing to make it happen, then I'm going to go ahead and invest into you. That's my old retail investor due diligence that I do. Of course, this doesn't always work, but here's what I will do. I'll give you an example of a project that hasn't come out, but it shows a lot of promise. The first one is Nyan Heroes. When you look at their actual page, you'll see immediately that they have backing from the Mechanism Capital, Delphi Ventures, and Shima Capital. Why they're important is because Delphi, they were the ones that went ahead and created Axie Infinity pretty much. They invested into them, helped them out tons. Shima Capital is also completely massive if you're not into the VC space. They've got creators from Halo Destiny. They've got a product. It is already out. They've got gameplay that is tangible. And even bigger than that, they are part of the meta. They are actually going ahead and crafting up a brand new meta of play to go ahead and airdrop. It's a cool little narrative where people play the game. They get these Meow tokens that are converted into Nyan. And there is just so much presence on their Discord. Something important to go ahead and look at when you're into these projects is how are they going to generate revenue? Because revenue generation, it is the #1 problem that projects have in this space. If a project cannot go ahead and generate revenue, then at some point it won't be able to cater to whatever ends up happening to their token, and they will inevitably go straight to zero. There's actually a problem in crypto gaming, and it is pretty much not only a liquidity crunch, but it is a problem that just affects every single project in the space. It's called vesting fatigue. And now vesting is a big thing in the crypto space. If you actually didn't know, this is something that you should be doing every single project you get onto. You could go to dropstab.com, wherever you want to go to, but you put the ticker symbol in for the project that you want to look at. For example, this is Wilder World, and you look at when the vesting is going to happen. Now, for older projects like Wilder World, you're not going to see any aggressive unlocks with the vesting that happens there. We should be looking at when the vesting happens for these tokens, because that can result in a lot of negative price action. And this is why every YouTuber and every person on the planet will always say, do not buy tokens in the bear market. There's only one thing that continues to happen during the bear market, and that is vesting unlocks. Yes, there are people that bought tokens cheaper than you. Yes, they are locked for a certain period of time that they can't go ahead and grab them. And yes, they will dump on you the second that they get the chance to. And that is why we get these venture capital funds with tons of money investing into these cryptocurrencies. And that's why we see every bear market, the price of these tokens completely and utterly just catastrophically dying. That's because this right here, there's just massive difference in market cap. As vesting unlocks, more and more and more tokens end up coming out. We get negative price action, and it's not good for a token. And something even more important is the amount of money that a token has raised. Wilder World is a great example of a well-funded project. Back in January 2022, they secured $30 million for the expansion of their new dimension of reality. When Wilder World went ahead and did this, they really solidified themselves as a project with solid funding. Here is the thing though, smart projects do not do marketing during bear markets. And if you're not doing marketing during a bear market and you're also building out a product, which is your game that you're spending tons of money on, there's this thing called a burn rate. And that's the amount of money that a company is burning every single month to keep itself afloat. Something you should be categorizing. You should always ask how many people are working on this project. If there are 1,000 people working on a project, okay, let's say theoretically they're burning like $500,000 a month, which is insane. How much did they raise? I don't know, $10 million. That means they don't have that much time to figure this game out or raise more capital. So how would a product like Wilder World generate money? Well, they do have an NFT collection, which they do have 7.5% creator earnings on. They've gone ahead and done 6,000 1,000 ETH on this collection, which is somewhere around 450 ETH or like $1.6 million in my P brain. Okay, I might not be accurate here, but I'm trying my best. And so when you see this, we see, okay, they have revenue generation here. I'm sure that they have revenue generation in different places. Their runway is healthy. Token will survive. They probably didn't do marketing during this bear market, which is why we saw this trash price action. And that's why you should not be buying tokens during a bear market, because they're not doing marketing to pump your bags. They're only doing marketing to pump your bags during the bull cycle. And that applies to Citus. That applies to every project that we're going to be talking about on this video. It is more than likely that they have slowed down their marketing efforts because it's much less profitable to do so. It doesn't make a lot of sense to burn your money in gaming, especially if you do not have a game out just yet. So we got vesting fatigue there. If you wanted to know exact amounts on, like when the vesting for these projects is going to happen, we could look at their website. A lot of the time that they have these resources on there, the white paper, etc. Look up Citus vesting, Citus tokenomics. You should be able to find this yourself. Right now, we are in April 2024. So you can see most of the vesting has gone ahead and been unlocked. Only the team and ecosystem incentives are left to go before all of the unlocked tokens end up unlocking. This is great for you because seed round, private round, pre-public, public sale, they're all going to dump as fast as possible. It's what usually happens. If you're up 300x on your bags, you sure as hell are going to be taking profit. If you're not, you're probably clinically insane. And so when we see this, we see that, okay, Citus probably had a ton of negative price action during the bear market. And you would be very right. This token started off pretty much at the end of this bull cycle, had a pretty harsh bear market. And now in terms of a market cap, wait, that looks so different. And that's because they've gone ahead, hit brand new all-time highs in terms of a market cap, and their price not looking the same. But that's because so many tokens ended up unlocking during this bear cycle, which you could see right here. Pretty much all of these tokens ended up unlocking very, very aggressively during this bear market. And now they're ready to actually get out there, burn tokens with governance, and pump their coin. It's just how it works, right? They get marketing, they get a lot of things going for them, and they end up becoming a success. So let's go back to Nyan here, because I'm not done here. They did a play to airdrop. This is important because it ends up getting some numbers that are pretty ludicrous. I mean, if you didn't know, Nyan Heroes is pretty much the most played crypto game out there that has not launched a token yet, which is a big deal because once these things come out, we all know that FDV's price action will come and it will be absolutely massive. So how do I trade the launch of Nyan Heroes potentially? Well, you do not want to buy the launch of a coin usually. If you do, you might win, you might do very well for yourself, but more than likely, you're going to get a chart that resembles very similar to a token called Gaming, which recently came out for gaming. It is going to be pretty for a little bit. You might have flipped for, I don't know, 30, 40% gain, and then boom, you got destroyed. More than likely, this is what's going to happen because of the fact that public sale vesting is usually very generous. The public gets tokens pretty early on. They actually have the fastest vesting times on average out of any coin out there. In fact, you could go ahead, pinpoint back here, look at public sale. They got pretty much all their coins early on. I mean, by September, they had 100% of their coins. Usually, and this is historically, every public sale has significantly faster vesting unlocks than any other. And so you get a lot of negative price action during the beginning of your coin because of that. Allows the public though to get coins early, which they are probably heavily in profit in, which makes sense why they're going ahead and dumping. But it is important to understand this. And so what I would do is I would wait. This is what happened to tokens like Mavia, etc. And then somewhere around that 2 to 3 weeks, even a month out, you'll finally have most of these public sale dumpers dumped already. And these teams will do secondary marketing pushes to go ahead and continue whatever they're doing. There's always announcements afterward. They're always saving them for the inevitable negative price action that they're going to be receiving. So you want to time that for around when that's going to be happening. A good example of this would be Castle of Blackwater, which recently had their TGE. They had positive price action, just like we would suspect, and then they had negative price action surrounding it afterward. Is that to say that they're going to be dumping to oblivion and there's nothing here? No, I actually do think that this is a project that's going to be bullish. Why? Well, they have partnerships with Merit Circle. They're on Beam, as well as incubations by Seedify. They have pretty solid backers, good team. And so what's going to happen here? Well, it's very simple. Public sale dumpers, they're going to dump for the probably next week or something like that. And then after that, we're going to find a bottom, which this may very well have been the bottom. And then we're going to see some positive price action past this all-time high to get euphoria going once again. That's what most of these coins do. It's what we've seen time and time and time again as they save their announcements for around that 2 to 3 weeks to even a month out, and it just kind of repeats from there. We've got another example here. We have Star Heroes, which was an insane launch, to be honest with you. This one just went absolutely parabolic, went all the way to $1, which was crazy. Is now, as you can see, consolidated after the post launch, has kind of just chilled out, done nothing, and boom, it's just maintained steadily. So this is a project that is very solid in terms of fundamentals. We can see that the project is maintaining its price level, that there is actual support from retail buyers. And so what's going to happen? Well, this project's probably going to send it in the next week because of that. It's a lot simpler than people make it out to be in crypto sometimes. I feel like people, they're like, okay, well, this token is launched, so I got to get in. I'm going to FOMO in now because I want to capitalize on this opportunity. But the reality is they know that, and they're going to be dumping on you whenever they can. And so you need to wait until they actually do these announcements to get the price going again, and then get into these things. You never want to trade against price action. If you have a bearish price action, the likelihood of a bearish trend continuing is much more likely than a bullish reversal happening. And so if price go up, price is probably going to go up more often than it's going to be going down. Now, could you be a genius and could you time the exact bottom for a coin and make millions of dollars? You can. But at that point, just go to your local gas station and buy a lottery ticket, because that's exactly what you're doing. We're trying to use logic to get gains in the crypto gaming and altcoin markets in general. This applies to pretty much every industry out there. Now we know you need to look into their raises. You need to look into their burn rate. We don't want these teams to be downscaling their teams during this bull cycle. We know that the money is here and marketing is going hard. Tons of these teams are announcing tens of thousands, if not millions of dollars worth of prize pools in this bull cycle. So now's the time. You need to do the crunch time research, do your own research. If you enjoy this content, as always, like and subscribe. None of this is financial advice, just some lunatic yelling about gaming coins. As always, hopefully I will have educated you on some new principles for gaming altcoins in general. If you enjoy this content, you know what to do. Stay classy. And that's all.